Good morning, everyone. We're going to go ahead and get started. My name is Sandra Sanchez, and I'm the Dean of Economic and Workforce Development here for Los Angeles Harbor College. Welcome to Los Angeles Harbor College and our Global Trade and Logistics Industry Spotlight event. This event brings professionals, politicians, faculty, and students together to recognize the importance of high-growth, high-wage industry sectors in our regional economy. We will host a series of quarterly events designed to educate, engage, and excite stakeholders into sparking new relationships and collaborative efforts. Our intent is to offer an intimate environment that fosters knowledge sharing, networking around key industry sectors. In honor of National World Trade Week and in recognition of the pivotal role that global trade and transportation plays in our economy, it only seemed appropriate to select global trade and logistics for our first College to Career Industry Spotlight event. We hope that you enjoyed today's networking opportunities, information sessions, and exhibitors. Today, I have the honor of presenting our very first speaker. But before I get started, I just want to remind you that instead of a Q&A, we ask the audience to hold their questions and proceed to the quad area that's right outside following the session, and we'll have an opportunity for you to ask the expert. So now to our speaker. Fernando Guerra is the Senior Port Planner, Senior Economist for the Master Planning Division of the Port of Long Beach. Mr. Guerra is responsible for long and short-term cargo forecasting, economic impact analysis, long-term strategic planning, analyzing the global economic environment, and conducting international trade and logistics research. He's a frequent panel participant providing expertise related to international trade with China, Japan, South Korea, Taiwan, and other parts of Asia and the overall global economy. Mr. Guerra also teaches economics and political science part-time at Saddleback College in Mission Viejo. He is a member of the Southern California District Export Council. He is appointed by the U.S. Secretary of Commerce, the National and Los Angeles chapters of the National Association for Business Economics, the Asia Society, and the Pacific Council on International Policy, and the Los Angeles World Affairs Council. In his previous work experience, Mr. Guerra worked for LAEDC, the Los Angeles County Economic Development Corporation, where he analyzed the regional economy of the greater Los Angeles region with a special focus on Orange County and the Inland Empire. And prior to his work for the LAEDC, Mr. Guerra served as an economic consultant for David Tossig and Associates, an economic consulting firm, preparing fiscal and economic impact reports for private sector clients and public agencies. Mr. Guerra earned his Bachelor of Arts degree in Economics and International Relations from the University of Southern California, and he received his Master of Arts degree in International Economics and International Relations from Johns Hopkins University School of Advanced International Studies. Please give a round of applause for Mr. Guerra.
Thank you for that. So I guess I'll speak loudly, pretend I'm at home in my crazy Italian family, so it won't be a problem at all, trust me. Great to be here this morning, and thank you very much for having me. I was going to do something different, which I did last week, and there are a few people that were in attendance last week at a supply chain conference at Cal State Dominguez Hills. So I'm glad I'm not going to do that same presentation or a little speech. I don't want to bore anyone. So I'm going to do something that I did last year, and trying to put LA and LA County and the region in proper perspective with respect to how closely we are interconnected to the global economy. So good morning, everyone. It's great to be here. This issue is very important to me as I've been working and living economic development and workforce development for the past 7 years as an economist and, as she mentioned, a community college instructor. I want to thank Brandon and Michael for the invitation and acknowledge the commitment being shown by the state of California, California Forward, and of course, California community colleges. So welcome to what I like to call the capital of the Pacific Rim, meaning the LA region. Yes, where this very college is located. This is going to be mostly geared towards students, so hopefully we do have some students in the audience. I'm going to try my best to get your attention this morning and claim that LA County is the epicenter of the global economy, or at the very least, one of the epicenters. Now, as I mentioned, I am Italian, and we are known for our exaggeration and hyperbole, but this is not that, I promise you. I can really substantiate what I'm trying to say this morning. So let me begin to place LA County and the region into proper context, economically speaking, for all of you. Yes, of course, we all know that the U.S. is the largest economy in the world and the key driver of the global economy, although that has diminished in recent years, but it still is in the driver's seat. Well, California, of course, is the largest state economy in the United States, and it would actually be the 6th largest economy in the world if it were a country. The 6th. California has the largest population of any state in the United States, and California is the key driver of the U.S. economy. California always acts as a key indicator of where the U.S. economy is headed, and it always leads the way whenever the United States economy begins to transform itself, and that will not change. If LA County were a state, it would be the 8th largest state in the United States based on population. So let's continue with substantiating my claim. LA County has the largest county economy in California, and it has the largest county economy in the United States. It would be the 20th largest economy in the world if it were a country. If you take the LA 5-county region, it'd be the 16th largest economy in the world. It is the most diverse county economy in the United States by far. It is the largest county exporter in the United States and the largest exporter of any metro area. And it attracts more foreign direct investment, better known as FDI, than any other county in the United States. As a result, I believe one can make a formidable argument that LA County is the epicenter of the U.S. economy and key driver of the U.S. economy, which means that everyone around the world, not only around the United States, should have a close eye on the economic environment here. And it also means that LA County is at the epicenter of the global economy. Are you convinced yet? Well, maybe not, but I'm going to keep trying. No other county in the United States is more interconnected to the global economy. I can assure you of that. Well, you're asking, how can he make such a statement? Well, for the past decade, I've been closely analyzing all of this, trust me. Next, let's take a close look at the most important industry in this region and why we're all here today. And of course, that's international trade. International trade, yes, is the most important industry in Southern California. It employs over 250,000 people in Southern California, and that is only looking at the jobs related to transportation, logistics, and distribution. It is more likely in a neighborhood of over 500,000, and in fact, when I first started at the LADC and had the honor and pleasure of working with Jack Kaiser, he would always tell me that it's definitely over 500,000 when you include all the trade-related employment. We have the 2 busiest ports, as you all know, in the United States, busiest in the Western Hemisphere, and the 9th busiest in the world when combined. We have the largest and most important customs district called the LA Customs District, and I know most of you already know this. It's more geared towards the students here. Of course, that includes the Port of LA, Port of Long Beach, and LAX, and along with many other smaller ports. So what happened in 2015? Our top trading partners are, as you could have imagined, are entirely from Asia. Southern California serves as the primary conduit for trade between the United States and Asia. We are Asia's gateway to America and America's gateway to Asia. The LA Customs District maintained its top position in the United States in 2015 with $394 billion in two-way trade. Of the $394 billion, trade with Asia represents over 81% of total trade, with 321 billion. China represents 43% of the entire total from a value standpoint. 90% of our total volume at our ports is related to trade with Asia, 75% related to trade with China, Japan, and South Korea, and 60% to China alone. Vietnam is our 5th largest trading partner and has been consistently moving up the rankings over the past 10 years. The big 3 to keep an eye on for the future are definitely Vietnam, India, and Indonesia. Our top 5 import sources are China, Japan, Korea, Vietnam, and Taiwan. And Vietnam is approaching Korea. Our top 5 export destinations are China, Japan, Korea, Australia, and Taiwan. And of course, China is the big story on the export side. So now let's move on to the other key pillar of economic globalization, and that is foreign direct investment. This region is truly a global region, as I've already demonstrated with respect to international trade and the role it plays in our regional economy. But the significance of FDI in LA County is also very real. So what do I mean? And these numbers are definitely outdated, and the good news is there's a big FDI report coming on June 16th at the big LA Summit, Select LA Summit that's coming on June 16th and the 17th. And there will be an international trade report and an FDI, a new FDI report released on that day, on the 16th. So these are some older numbers, but still to put things in proper perspective of how important and influential foreign direct investment is in our region. There are over 4,500 foreign-owned and affiliated business establishments in LA County. The top 5 sources are Japan, the UK, France, Germany, and Canada. This translates into a total of 360,000 jobs, which translates into approximately 1 in 10 employees county-wide. And these are high-paying jobs. Now, the big storyline here is that LA County is receiving the largest amount of Chinese investment in the United States. And it has transformed some local economies within LA County. Like an area just north of here, of course, the San Gabriel Valley, our ties with China have never been stronger, and they are only going to get stronger. And I've been saying this over the last 6 years, and every year it becomes more and more true. Of course, the region of the world in which we have the strongest relationship is, of course, Asia. And that is the key for the future of our region. We have the closest ties to China, Japan, Korea, and Taiwan. LA County can definitely say that no other region has a stronger relationship with Asia. No one comes close. Just look at the history, the facts, and the trends, and the future projections. Now, of course, this is predominantly related to our relationship with China. Since 2001, and with China joining the World Trade Organization, our local economy has never been the same. Upwards of $40 billion of Chinese investment is at stake from now until 2020 for our region. Yes, $40 billion. 60% of all activity at our ports, as I mentioned earlier, is related to China. And the expectations for Chinese tourism is off the charts, as it has already become the #1 source of overseas visitors for LA. China's economic rise has had a significant impact on the LA region. We have been the greatest beneficiary of any region in the United States. In fact, I want all the China critics, and I won't name anyone individually politically, to understand that this region has only benefited from China's rise, and it would only continue to do so. Again, only benefited. Very important for our region to understand. Finally, to summarize, the U.S. is the key driver of the global economy. California is the key driver of the United States economy, and LA County is the key driver of the California economy. So you could make the case that LA County is one of the key drivers of the global economy. Now, the key thing to understand here is not that this is solely only true based on the present, but more importantly, this will become further true over the long run. The future is what we are all concerned about, particularly the students that are here. Which part of the United States has the most potential? Well, where will the best opportunities be? Well, here I can make another compelling argument. Where is the future of the U.S. economy going to be, meaning geographic location and industries? It's not New York, it's not Chicago, it's LA. And why? Because no other region of the United States is more closely interconnected with the Pacific Rim, more specifically Asia, and even more specifically developing Asia. Remember, this is going to be the Asian century. Well, if that is true, this is going to be California's and Southern California's century as well, as a result of our deep connections and interdependence. And if that weren't enough, what about our ties to Mexico and future opportunities with the rest of Latin America? These regions include the largest and key emerging markets, including China, India, Mexico, Brazil, and the ASEAN 5, which are Indonesia, Philippines, Thailand, Vietnam, and Malaysia. And the key high-tech economies that include Japan, Korea, and Taiwan. Those economies in those countries aren't going anywhere. And it's in the industries of the future that we have a competitive and a comparative advantage, including high-tech manufacturing, green clean tech, entertainment, tourism, education, and other services, and exporting. Now, let me mention a few things that are very dear to my heart, and I want to talk, again, directly to the students in the audience. And this is very important. I always try to emphasize to my students every semester the necessity to learn what you really need to become a successful global citizen. We must be doing everything we can to ensure that we are preparing you to compete in today's global economy. And that is what the Global Trade and Logistics Consortia is all about, starting at the community colleges, because it all comes down to economic development and education and human capital. That's where it all starts. So my advice to all of you is to take certain courses that are truly going to add value and prepare you for the future. You have to focus on everything international, starting with international business, international finance, international economics, of course, international trade, but also history and languages. And of course, international relations and international political economy. And you're probably wondering why I say those two. Because you have to absolutely understand the geopolitical situation in order to make sound business decisions and succeed. And the world is only going to become smaller. What happens in one part of the world impacts the rest of the world. And of course, the reason we are here today is for you to understand that you must explore the opportunities in trade, in logistics, and supply chain management, as we are the international trade and goods movement capital of the United States. And that is not going to change. Remember, it is not only about preparing yourself for the short term, but more importantly, the long term. Thank you very much for all your attention this morning, and I look forward to meeting you outside.